Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Hudsonville Public Schools Board of Education regular meeting for December 12th of 2024. If you could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board members, you have our agenda. If I can have a motion for approval.
I'll do that.
Motion from Nick, second.
Support.
Support from Andrew. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
First up is our
Excuse me, since there wasn't an opportunity for discussion, I would like to say that I am a little disappointed and frustrated that at the 11th hour, the agenda removed the item regarding the DAC discussion. And that's contrary to what we told people at the November 18 meeting, and that's reflected in our minutes. I'm not sure of the underlying reason, but I do feel that it's not honest and it's not transparent.
All right, so I would like to address that, Dawn. There were documents that were sent with our, might have just been with the agenda, but the documents that were presented at the work session had changed completely different from what was going to be presented at the agenda. Board meetings, as you know, having been on here, are for approval of action items and updates. Discussion items occur at work sessions. And so I requested prior to the distribution of the agenda that item be moved to a work session. Dr. Vanderjack kept it on the agenda. I had sent another email on Saturday and it was not acknowledged. And so yesterday at the board breakfast, we had a lengthy discussion and it was moved where it belongs on a discussion item. This is very important work. We have waited 2.5 years. If we wait another 6 weeks, it's okay, considering that the school was closed for 2 weeks. So I would like the board to have an opportunity to look at everything that's presented, and I have asked Dr. Vanderjack to have Mandy present a complete overview of what this committee has been doing in 2.5 years to come to the recommendations that they are giving to us. So I thank you for understanding and for following our process. Thank you. So next up, teaching and learning future.
Angie Briggs Johnson was going to give the update tonight regarding the amazing work that our staff in our community is doing to support those in need. She's unable to be here tonight for various reasons, but I would like to ask Mrs. Thomas to give an update, which is pretty exciting to see the work we've done to support those in need. So I'll turn over to Mrs. Thomas, and the presentation will be on the screen to your left.
Yeah, so please forgive me if it looks like I'm reading my notes. I am. They are Angie's notes. She's done a great job in preparing these slides for you to just highlight some of the different ways that staff and community members were able to get there. So one of which is Mr. DeSmith's class at the high school, who has done a wonderful job of being able to support 13 families who will each be receiving Christmas donations in the range of $1,200 to $1,500. They've done an awesome job through the school store and fundraising and then coordinating these events. Andy wanted to be sure we thanked many different stakeholders in this. Staff, along with students, were also able to collect their own dollars to put towards holiday food baskets. We want to thank our administrative assistants for all the work they did with organizing logistic information and identifying families that would be appropriate recipients. Our high school Eagle Landing class, which did the collection of money and coordinating donations. Chapel Point, that has adopted 54 families in Hudsonville to provide holiday season gifts and necessities. Toys for Tots was able to support us with 3 to 4 gifts for 106 families. That's very different. 3 to 4 gifts for 106 families. And then Shop with a Hero, which impacted 51 students.
Can I also mention with
Yeah.
Shop with the Hero, which was last night at Meyer, The weather was not ideal, but the kids and families showed up and the heroes showed up. And not only did Meyer donate $50, maybe this is later in the presentation, I'm sorry. Meyer donated $50 for every student to get gifts, but Sound Off Signal threw in another $20 per student to support the holiday season. So two major contributors in our community helping out our kids.
Thank you. Georgetown Christian Reformed Church partnered with us once again to supply 53 families with Thanksgiving meals. These families will also be able to pick up baskets for the holiday season upcoming as well. These baskets will be delivered on December 18th with the help of our mental health therapist in terms of picking up all necessary items in the distribution. This highlights Shop with a Hero, really adorable. We have 51 students participate, all made possible by the generosity of Jamestown Meyer Store. And here's our Toys for Tots, who supported not only our families, 106 families, they also supported Jenison and Zeeland families as well. And this is just to highlight that ongoing, we do have just a small suite of items that families can access or students can access at any point in the year. We know holidays are especially important to make sure we take care of our own, but throughout the year we have meals and we collect personal care and hygiene items and a clothing closet at the high school. And anytime we have a teacher or a counselor who identifies a potential student or family that may benefit, we make sure that they have the ability to check out our source suite, which is located just off the high school library. So thanks to Angie, who's not here, but prepared all of this and had a big hand in coordinating. And
She does great work
Yeah,
at the
she
high
does great
school, leading this, and it's not just the high school. Can you go back one slide,
Yeah.
Mrs. Thomas? So for those that may know this, and I will date myself right now, that's repurposing a card catalog file
I love
for
that.
hygiene products, so you have no idea what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it.
Do we just-
Just a great job working with all of our families, all of our staff, and obviously the weather can take a toll on the fundraising efforts, but I think we'll get an update also from student council, making things are good also. So. Thanks. Any questions for Mrs. Thomas and or Angie that we can get?
Great work. Really important stuff. Thank you.
All right, next up, recognition of visitors and hearing of people present.
First speaker is Gwen Stoik.
I can't stay for the meeting tonight, for the whole meeting, but I couldn't miss the opportunity to honor Mark Davis for his 34 years of service. I hope each of you will quickly do the math to think about how old you were 34 years ago. I was 36. What a gift, Mark, that while we were preoccupied doing other things, you've been faithfully tending the mission of educating our children, encouraging our teachers and administrators, overseeing our finances, and keeping trust with our community. While most educators retire at 55 and most in the private sector retire at 65, Mark has continued his service to Hudsonville schools month after month, decade after decade, serving under 5 superintendents. At a prior meeting, I heard Mr. Beal say that his school days here were wonderful and he aims to continue that legacy for our current students. When Jordan graduated in 1999, Mark Davis was one of the pillars that was holding up the standards of excellence and integrity that have made Hudsonville Public Schools a place of purpose, accomplishment, and goodwill for generations. The maintenance department provided a comprehensive list including many, many ongoing additions and improvements, too many to mention, that were carried out under Mark, 90s to present day. I don't know why I was shaking, but sorry. Major transformations to the district include 1996 Baldwin Street Middle School, 1998 football stadium, 1999 second floor on the high school, 2000 Riley Street Middle School, 2006 Georgetown Elementary, 2013 the athletic complex, the new South Elementary in Jamestown, 2014 the new transportation building, the 9+ building academic wing, 2015 9+ building pool and auditorium, 2016, South Elementary returned to the city and Jamestown split. 2022, the connector at the high school. 2023, the 5-6 building, and 2023, the field house. Mark, your contributions go far, far beyond buildings. There will be no monument erected in your memory. And yet, all around in our classrooms, in our community, and far from our community, are thousands of people who carry the blessings of your dedication to Hudsonville Public Schools. The people of our community, whether they know who you are or not, are forever in your debt. Thank you.
If you need another 3 minutes, you're welcome. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Next is Dana Odell.
So I had, looked back through school records, and the latest I could find, that I could find, of Mark winning an election was 95. So seeing that, maybe I need to check again. But in that election, Mark won with a staggering 336 votes, which was over 98% of all votes in that election. Mark served faithfully on the board until 2007, when he lost re-election to Larry Kapica. But in true Mark Davis fashion, he didn't let that deter him. By 2008, he returned to the board through appointment and has since won re-election term after term. As the longest-serving member of the current board, Mark has witnessed Hudsonville's transformation and growth firsthand. He has helped navigate the district through countless milestones and served in officer roles like Assistant Secretary Treasurer and Vice President. He's collaborated with 20 different board members and maintained a nearly 93% attendance record, proof of his dedication to the students and families of this community. Mark's impact extends far beyond the school board. He's given his time and energy to numerous civic, church, and mission organizations. His legacy will endure through the countless lives he has touched, whether in ways seen or unseen. His impact will ripple through this community for generations. On a personal note, I first met Mark 4 years ago when I started attending school board meetings. When I began recording meetings, Mark would always jokingly question, "Did you capture my good side?" That's Mark, bringing warmth and humor to every situation, while never losing sight of the serious responsibility we have to our community's children. Over the years, I've come to know Mark not just as a board member, but I'm honored to call him a friend. His humor, dedication, and unwavering commitment to Hudsonville have left a lasting impression on me and all of us. Mark, as this chapter of your life closes, we know another one is just beginning. Thank you for your years of service, your leadership, and your friendship. And tonight, I hope I've captured your good side.
Thanks very much.
And that is it for this evening.
All right, we will move on to our action items, and we will start with our consent agenda. You have the proposal for the consent agenda items. Do we have a motion to approve? Motion from Dawn, second.
I'll support.
From Nick. Any discussion on the consent agenda? All right, hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. All right, motion passes. We'll move on to our regular action agenda. First up is our 2015 refunding bonds resolution.
Thank you. This was reviewed at work session in detail. We had some representatives here from PFM, but in short, this is an authorizing resolution that gives administration the authority to refund both of the 2015 bonds if the market conditions are right. That's the long and short.
So the board had time to review the bond resolution as presented by Pat Briggs. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move that.
Motion from Mark, second.
I'll second.
Second from Greg. Any further questions for Pat?
So I wasn't here when you reviewed it during the work session, so, what's the market looking like out there, Pat? Talk about interest rates a little bit,
Yeah,
so what are things looking like?
So this market, the bond market, is reacting really differently today than it did a month ago and 2 months ago, and we just anticipate it's kind of a low supply time this is the time, like the peak supply times are the start of the calendar year, May, times like that. So we really don't know, but as long-term, the, more what you're getting at, is the yield curve finding its way to the right spot? Yes. Long-term interest rates are getting, they're higher than short-term interest rates finally. It's been an inverted yield curve for 4 years, so that's normalizing, and, we expect the right conditions for our bonds when we get out there in the market, and anywhere from May to, it could be as early as April. From April to June is our target time to be pricing in the market.
Okay, that's what I was asking, thank you. Perfect.
Okay, any other questions for Pat? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next up, we have our 80-20 insurance resolution.
So we presented to the board, at the work session, the 80-20, resolution that follows our, certified staff. This is just resolution to say that we're gonna follow what's, quite frankly, we have to do because it's a negotiated item. But we think it's important to do every year based on the resolution that needs to take place with insurance. So it's been laid out. There could be some changes to PA 152, we're still monitoring that, but that won't impact, the contract right now. This is still an 80-20 contribution, 80%, 20% staff.
So the board had time to review the 80-20 insurance resolution, as just presented by Dr. Vanderjack. Do we have a motion to approve?
So
Support. Movement from Andrew, support from Dawn. Any questions for Dr. Vanderjack?
Is this a legal, is this driven by legislation, I guess is my question.
the answer is yes.
I thought so.
We have to, and it's a cap or an 80-20, the agreement between the EA and the board is for an 80-20, so this resolution just supports that part of the contract.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Dr. Vanderjack? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next up, we have human resource items.
Yes, hello. I know it's December, but I have human resources right. And I figured, Mr. Davis, this is the best thing that you do as a board, right? Is approve certified hires. So there you go. Addison and Andrew, who I'm presenting to the board tonight, were not born when you when you were first elected. So there you go. But no, I have two great people to present to the board tonight. First, I have Addison Bauer. And Addison is coming to us from Grand Valley State University. She's just a recent grad last weekend. And she also did her student teaching in DeWitt High School. She also learned that when Grand Valley or any college says, hey, we're gonna do this dinner and there's going to be administrators there from future districts, you should attend, she will say, yes, you should attend. Because Dr. Vanderjack and I were had the pleasure of presenting to a great group of grads, and then they got to talk to us, and both Dr. Vanderjack and I met Addison at this dinner, and we're like, you have to apply for this job. And I called Mr. Beal on the way out and said, hey, I think I found one. So we're really excited for her to start, which she has, in the high school in an English position, and I love it. Mr. Anderson is sitting next to her as department chair, also supporting her as well. So there you go. Perfect. So Addison Bauer for an English position at high school, and then my second one is Andrew and Andrew did reach out to me. He lives even west of here, so I did say just due to the weather, if you don't drive in if you're nervous. So, but Andrew is I'm recommending him for hire at the 5-6 building for ASD categorical classroom. Andrew's coming from Hope College. He graduates, I think, Saturday. And he is doing his student teaching over in Jenison, and Jenison highly recommended him, did a fantastic job. And this is why you have good relationships with neighboring districts, because we quick snatched him up. and they told both Andy and I, yeah, that's a good call. So, those are the two recommendations for hire, and, thank you very much.
All right, we have that the board approve the following certified hires as presented by Ann Armstrong. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion from Dawn, second.
Support.
Support from Ken. Any questions for Ann? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Yes,
Great
welcome.
to have you.
And thank you for being here tonight. Next up, we have our board policy revision, second reading.
So second reading for board policy number 5771, search and seizure as laid out with the board. No recommendation for changes to the policy after the first reading, so the recommendation is to approve it as a second reading and to be implemented as soon as tomorrow, if approved.
All right, so we have that the board approve the second and final reading of the policy as presented by Dr. Vanderjagt. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion from Andrew,
Support.
support from Ken, I think it
Yep.
was. All right, all in favor, questions? All right, no questions, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, next up, we have more board policy revisions, first reading.
Here's a series of first readings. We did review these in the work session. I did not receive any questions for changes. That doesn't mean you don't have a chance. This is just the first reading. But these are, I'm not gonna go through all of them for the sake of time, and it's policy and nobody wants me to go through all of these. However, these are the recommendations. There's a lot of them that have to do with funds with federal dollars. There's things that are cleaning up, and there's a lot of artificial intelligence information that our curriculum department and Mr. Steenstra with our instructional technology department have reviewed. So this is our recommendation for a first reading. The second reading will come to the board, quite frankly, at our January meeting near the end of the month. So that is our recommendation.
All right, so we have that the board approved the first reading of the policies that were reviewed at the work session and presented by Dr. Vanderjagt. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Movement from Ken, support from Andrew. Any questions for Dr. Vanderjagt?
Minor point, reading through them, I did notice that there were a couple where and this may not be anything, Doug, so we say parent, it says parent. I don't know if we're supposed to say parent or guardian. Again, a minor point, I'll leave it up to your discretion what to do with
No,
it.
I'll look it up. I'll consistency. in the
That
board.
jumped out at
Take a
me
look.
in a couple of them,
Yep,
so.
thanks.
I'll-
Good question.
Whatever you wanna do with that. That's it, everything else is good.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. All right, next up, we have course proposals.
Mrs. Taylor's unable to be here tonight, but those are the course proposals that we reviewed extensively at the work session. We did not receive questions regarding those, but those are our recommendations tonight as a first reading of the course proposals, as stated below.
All right, we have that the board approved the first reading of the course proposals that were reviewed at our work session. Do I have a motion to approve?
So
I'll
moved.
move.
Movement from Dawn,
I'll support.
support from Nick. Any questions?
I thought for sure Mr. Davis would make a motion for the executive to be approved. but-
I already said my piece about that one.
I have to, well, I want to make a comment about it, he said, not anymore.
I think a couple board members might want to enroll in that course.
All right. All right, any questions?
Love these. Love these.
Yeah, there's some good courses there.
It's creative and innovative, and it's reading, writing, and arithmetic, but it's not your grandfather's reading, writing, and arithmetic. So,
I'll make the British American.
very good. But really nice job.
Thank you. I'll relay that information to our curriculum department.
Any other questions?
Interesting.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, now we'll move on to our report items.
So we're gonna do a quick review of just a couple bullets from the strategic plan. I think it's important every, twice a year to just talk about a couple things we're doing. I'm gonna start, if that's okay, with HR, Human Services, with Mrs. Armstrong. And I will cover a couple curriculum goals when we get to the end, because I know Mrs. Taylor's not here.
Sounds good. I have two to highlight, one under ongoing and one under short term that I just want to bring awareness to the board. Under ongoing for human services goals, we have developed wellness practices for adults who encounter or handle difficult situations during the school day. And this is a very large topic, but one of the things that we wanted to ensure is that our paras feel like they can support students when they are approached, because they build very good relationships with our students, and students feel that they are a safe place to go. And sometimes the professional development that we give our certified staff is different than our support staff, and they voice that they sometimes don't feel prepared to answer some of these difficult conversations. So Angie Briggs Johnson had received training this summer through the American Red Cross to be a trainer. So she received training to be a trainer for this topic of mental health first aid. And so on the October Professional Development Day, she took a large group of secondary paraprofessionals and then trained them in this mental health first aid. And then the plan is to take another group of elementary paras and 2 early years in the winter to then train them as well. And what this does is just give these paraprofessionals tools of how to respond and then who to hand the student off to in an appropriate manner. So we were very excited about that, and we've got a lot of great feedback. And in fact, one para reached out within 2 weeks and said, hey, I used it, and I felt really good about using it. So that was awesome. And then another goal that I want to highlight is evaluate the needs, and this is under short term, evaluate the needs for expansion within building staff for mental health services. And this was a partnership with Mandy and under special services goals, just kind of navigating a 31N grant that we kind of received and reworking how we saw it would best serve our kids here in the district. And so we added those 3 mental health specialists and then also a counselor at the 5-6 with those funds. And so I'd like to take a lot of, how do I want to say it? It's a team effort. That's how Pat always says it. It's a team effort, but Mandy did a lot of it. So thanks for reaching that goal. That's human services.
Thanks, Dan. Next up, Mandy. Questions?
Yeah, just to piggyback on that goal, this is the first year with us having mental health therapy available to students K-12, and that's exciting. As you know, we've had a longer standing relationship with Arbor Circle for contracted therapy services at the high school, and so to be able to offer this to more students, especially looking at our at-risk data, just knowing that students at any age may be a good candidate for this. And so with the 3 mental health therapist positions that cover the elementary buildings and our 5-6 building, these therapists are already carrying caseloads collectively over 60 students, and they're able to provide a wide range of services, either with short-term brief intervention or a longer-term relationship with students, and with partnering with Ann and making sure that the job description really met the need is that their days can also be more flexible to be able to provide home extensions as well, to be able to meet with students after school and also to just extend over breaks. And so we're really, I think we hired the absolute best people for these positions, and they're doing a really great job and really hitting the ground running. So that's going really well. And then I would just say, Robin has the 1-pager that I believe you may have seen earlier that just outlines the 1-page proposed recommendation, which we can go into detail in January. I just want to say that the majority of committee members have dedicated a considerable amount of time to the process, and I just want to say thank you to them because it has involved not only time for some of them to leave work early, some of them missing dinner, some of them getting to Little League games late, some of them doing a lot of homework in between meetings. It's just it's been an extraordinary effort, and I appreciate the willingness for so many of them to give so much of their time. And also just that we were able to come to unanimous consensus on what our problem of practice was. That's the foundation for this, which is really that we believe that we know that it is both policy and law that we do what we can to make an anti-harassment environment for students, and knowing that there are instances of discrimination and harassment. This is just an incredibly important goal, and a lot of thought and research went into it, and I look forward to sharing further details with you next month. Thanks.
Thanks, Mandy. Mr. Briggs.
Thank you. So we are gonna highlight a couple, short-term goals. The first is, we had a goal to increase the number of cameras in certain locations at the elementary building, as well as the balance of the bus fleet. And to date, we've, thanks to the board's support, we've awarded a contract for that work. And Hiller's finished out the elementary camera installation and wiring. There's a couple spots, I just learned last week that we need to add additional cameras, 5 to 6 across the entire elementary division, but that work is essentially complete and functional. And, the buses, tougher, but the cameras, we have cameras on all the current buses that are running, the roads. They're loading video. We are just getting through the process of that being in our network. That's one of the goals, so the principals can look at, video from the buses without having to call the bus garage, have the supervisor clip something and email it to them. So that's in process, and now our tech director is just looking for time to facilitate training. That's where we are. So that goal is well underway, and I'd say 75 to 80% complete. So we're excited about that. Next short-term goal I'd like to highlight is explore methods to increase transportation driving staff. And one of the ways we thought of that we could increase them is to retain them. So we had the opportunity to put a position in short-term this fall in the bus garage, and it's been very successful. It's additional administration to help out with just the need. Behaviors are certainly up in the classroom, certainly since COVID, they're not down on buses. You know, what happens in the classroom happens in the buses. So we just had that support this fall, and we're looking to continue that support in the future in the form of a position. So that highlights those two goals. Any questions?
Thanks, Mr. Briggs.
I'm sorry, so that position will be, can you touch on that again?
Yeah, so we had a short-term position, like quasi-assistant transportation director. And so we're looking right now at the details of posting that, for the future, posting a position. Yes.
It was a position that was very beneficial, and, there's a lot of positives if you ask the people around the exterior of those tables. It's been helpful for students and for them.
Yeah, it just flowed down to being able to process those issues, get to those issues, has just made, not only the building leader's life, better, more organized, but it's made it much better for the bus drivers. It's just been a resource for them, so, we see it as very positive.
Do you have funding for that position, or?
Yes, yeah, we actually have had, dedicated funding for the last 2 years from Department of Ed, at categorical. It's funded, yes.
Just a couple co-curricular updates. I know that under short-term goal, we talked about co-curricular for special needs. We now have a class that you've seen them perform the Eagle Claw, the high school kids, which has been well received, not only for the students, but for Mr. Vanderwall, who's teaching it, as well as for the staff at the high school. I'm looking forward to that as we continue to evolve. You'll get an update tomorrow from me about our music program as a whole at the high school, because there's a lot changing there, which is exciting, but that Eagle Claw is a great opportunity for our kids. From an ongoing standpoint, we talked about district facilities and potential needs for all-weather spaces. I know that's a potential future bond. However, you'll also get an update that we're gonna open the track at the high school for community members that wanna walk the track Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the morning, bright and early, 5:45 to 7:15. Nominal fee to do it for a 3-month span, just because we need people to help supervise, just because of the layout, but a great opportunity for our community to use a facility that they help support. And then finally, some extracurricular clubs and activities. We now have field hockey for our girls, obviously boys volleyball, as we've seen before. There's some synchronized swimming going on, we have other clubs and activities, there's this baking stuff, there's a lot of co-curriculars going on. Mrs. Rebecca Fabiano, is doing a great job helping facilitating those, and then as well as our athletic department at the high school and the middle school are finding great opportunities for our kids to get involved, outside of the traditional school day. Last but not least, I'll highlight a couple things from the curriculum area. One of the short-term goals, expanding opportunities for students to explore college and career pathways. I think that yesterday there was a meeting, I'm looking at Mr. Beal back there, I think it was yesterday. They met, there's been some intense conversations about career and college pathways and how to support kids that are going either direction. Working with not only the high school staff, but support staff in our curriculum office, and at the high school level, so that's moving along quite well. Opportunity for advanced learners, long-term goal number 3, we've talked about that as a board. The math curriculum and the opportunity for our 8th grade math students as that continues to roll out as we start next school year. And then finally, ongoing goal number 3 about the expanded professional development opportunities. You've heard about the team time and the effectiveness of that team time. There was a presentation, I think it was at the last board meeting, maybe the one before that. Just the impact that's having and working with not only the association, but with Mrs. Armstrong on what is the best way to help support our teachers so they can continue to academically support our kids. So that's another goal that the curriculum department's been working on heavily. So that is a quick snapshot of a handful of goals that we continue to work on, and we'll continue this as we get into next year. Next year, we'll continue with this plan, and then the following year, we do it all over again. We'll have those conversations as we wind up the year next year. So that is our SOAR 5 update. Keep going?
Yeah.
All right, next up, student council. Tell us how awesome it was to sleep in today, because I did not get to sleep in today.
Well, we appreciate you.
Thank you. Say it one more time.
Things are starting to get more exciting at the high school again. Winter sports are starting, winter athletics are starting to begin now, which are always fun events to go to, as long as our other academic opportunities like robotics and science olympiad, those are competitions that are beginning to start as well. Student council is working on putting together a form of winter dance. We're beginning the processes of that, so we'll see how that goes, and we'll let you know when that's happening. We also had the opportunity to say thank you 2 weeks ago to our custodians and bus drivers. We sent out individual gifts to each of those, cookies and other small gifts in tokens of appreciation. Some of our student leaders in the building are actually working with Arbor Circle. They are receiving training on peer pressure and refusal skills and communication, and they are going to go to the 5-6 building to teach all those skills to 6th graders to apply throughout their life. So that's an awesome opportunity. We're hosting a blood drive soon, January 10, so that's always exciting for our students who receive the opportunity to experience like that life-saving opportunity for others, which actually goes to our community. Also available to adults in our community as well. And finally, some of our students are working twice a week in the food drive in our high school media center that then gets distributed to our community. So lots of exciting things going on.
You look rested.
Slept in a little bit.
He wants to know if you're gonna call it tomorrow.
No, he's not. I'm tired. No, it's fine. Thanks. Let's, a few building updates. We'll start with Georgetown Elementary. Mr. Wally.
Good evening, everyone. It's a fun time of year in elementary world, busy time of year. It can be a little bit of a tricky time of year too, just because schedules start changing a little bit, both in the building and outside the building. Students have lots of things going on at home this time of year too. One of the things that we have going on that makes it a little bit busier, we have our holiday music program this time of year. So we had ours at Georgetown last week, Wednesday, which if you remember, that was the night it got pretty dicey out. So it was a bit of a drive home. And I know we had the same thing this Thursday too, and then again Thursday with the programs we had with no school. So that's been fun, but it's a great time and it's very well received by our parents, and kids have a great time with this. So what else is going on right now is this is our second STAR assessment window right now in the elementary world. But you remember that's our benchmark assessment we use with kids, so it's kind of fun We're not totally through with all of our classes yet, in my building, but it's kind of fun digging into that data a little bit today when we had a little bit extra time, looking at that. Kids are making a lot of gains. This is one of the times a year where they kind of really start pushing a little bit, and then when we get more into March and April, they really start growing again too, so. And then I just wanna kinda give a shout out to my PTC. I know we talk about all of our staff and everybody that does things. We also have a lot of parents that volunteer and come into the building and do things. At Georgetown, they do our one and only fundraiser for the year, is our walkathon we do at the beginning of the year. They raise a lot of money to kind of support our teachers and our students during the year. And then as kind of a reward for that, we do this year and last year we had some students that raised the most money, got to pie some of our teachers, and Dr. Vanjak came over, Mr. Bolheck came over this year, and then a bunch of teachers, and kids really enjoyed that. So it was a lot of fun. Thank you two for coming over with that.
I will say, going early is the advantage, because they don't have the creative ways to get all over your face. The kid was scared, so he threw it once and he backed off. I'm like,
yeah, they're a little more nervous at the beginning. The student that got me, he gritted and did a lot of dancing afterwards, so he enjoyed it.
Did you say some bad stuff about me? I never met the kid that did me, and he was like angry at me. That's gonna hurt me.
He did say, when I told him he was going to pie, he goes, man, last year I got the advantage. Why do you always give me the important people? Be careful.
I thought maybe his parents didn't vote for me or something.
Yeah, no, and then just lastly, they run our holiday shop and provide some things for our students too during that time. They do all that. The students pay for the items, but they spend all year buying them as cheap as they can, and it's not a fundraiser for us. If they buy it for $1, they'll sell it for $1. If they buy it for $2, sometimes they still sell it for $1. So it's great watching the kids go in there. I helped a pre-K kid yesterday shop for his family and watching them what they grab and who's that for? That'll be for Dad. It might be a candle or whatever. Okay, we'll go with it. Right. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
thanks, Mr. Wallace. Jamestown Upper, Mr. Wallace.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good evening and Merry Christmas from Jamestown Upper. I just got two quick stories I want to share. The first one goes right back to the holiday concerts, which are, as you know, a huge part of this time of year. But I just want to highlight the music teachers and their role in that program. We have a brand new music teacher this year who most of you met either last spring when she was here or at the breakfast. Brand new to teaching, brand new to Jamestown, and so in the last 4.5 months, she has met and taught 630 new students and gotten them ready for an amazing performance. And when I did the math, you think, man, we've been in school a lot of days. She only really had 13 to 14 classes with each one of those students because of the rotation. And she had never stood foot in the venue until yesterday for the practice. So I was just blown away at what some of our young teachers are doing, her in particular yesterday. So shout out to all of our new hires. They are just killing it. Second one, you guys have heard a lot about bridges and the implementation this year, and it has been so fun sitting in on those classes, especially the number quarter. And one of the foundational pieces to that is the student discussion. And I was in a 3rd grade class earlier this week and listening to their discussion. And again, one of the cornerstones is having the students explain their thinking, not just give the answer, but be able to show and explain to the class what and how they got it. And so I was listening to one of the girls explain her answer, which was right. And she got done, and one of the other students in the class said, I would like to respectfully disagree with the student, which is awesome, right? They, teaching kids how to have these respectful discussions. And so he goes through and he explains why he thinks that he's right and she's wrong. And about 3/4 of the way through his explanation, he catches his mistake and says, okay, no, that was me. So she goes on, well, I would like to respectfully disagree again. I think she still made a mistake. He goes through and he catches his second mistake now. And she's super polite, and recognizing she did it correctly. So a few minutes pass and he recognizes that all of his mistakes were, he said, well, now I would just like to respectfully disagree with myself. I was like, what a great example of, number one, explaining thinking, owning mistakes, and then being able to change their thinking. It was just a great example of what we're seeing in that program.
Thanks, Mr. Wallace. Next up, Baldwin Street, Mr. Creed.
Good evening, everyone. This time of year, it's always important to me to reflect on the teachers and our students. It's a time of year we're preparing for the quote-unquote the week next week before the holiday break. And at this time of year, we start to have a lot of conversation in our building around motivation and student engagement because everybody's feeling a little tired, and but our staff has gone above and beyond for this next week to plan some engaging activities that are outside of the classroom to keep students feeling like they're a part of something bigger than themselves. So we're looking forward to a lot of fun next week. We have some simple things like a holiday snow globe coloring contest, and students are hanging them on their lockers just to bring some life to our green building in Hudsonville. So we're trying to bring some color to the room. We also are just wrapping up our yearbook cover contest. Those of you that have students that have gone through Baldwin, that's something that we do every year where the students design the cover. And this year, to get more participants, we've added the caveat that the students are voting this year on which yearbook cover they would like to have instead of the staff. So we're really excited about that. We also have our staff versus student volleyball game next Friday afternoon at 1:55. You are all welcome to attend. Mr. Bolheis, if you'd like to play with us again this year, we'd welcome that.
We'll see.
But just another great thing, you've seen students, they're posting messages around the room to hype up their team, and our staff are posting messages around the building to hype up their team, and just a lot of good, friendly camaraderie going on. You also want to keep an eye on social media from Baldwin next week. There may be a principal surprise for the community as we celebrate the holiday season. So with that, that's our update. We also have our music concerts in full swing. I'll be leaving here tonight to get to the 8th grade band concert. And then we have 7th grade band and choir next week. So keep an eye out for those.
Thanks,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Reed. Mr. Beal.
All right, I'm last, so I'll try to be brief, but also, as was previously mentioned, as a 1999 grad, thank you for your service, Mr. Davis. Certainly had an impact on me as a student, as a parent, and as an employee now. So thank you for your many years of service to the district and the community. Like was already mentioned too about the season of giving and some of the fun coming next week, thanks to student council, thanks to the school store students. It's just a really great time at the high school right now. It's also concert season like it is everywhere else. Orchestra was last night. We have choir on Monday night and band on Wednesday night next week. Another thing that Paxton mentioned, sometimes we kind of have the same things to update as winter sports get started. We had kind of an extended fall with some of our teams doing very well in postseason play, including football team. So even though the final state championship game didn't go the way we wanted it to, similar to 1998, what was very impressive was the community support and just the number of people that drove all the way across the state during that busy holiday weekend. So that was very special to see all the support that the team had. So thank you for that. We're also very excited at the high school to welcome our newest staff member, Ms. Bauer. So we're very excited to have you, so thank you. And hopefully it's been a great start this first week you've been here. We're excited about the Spirit Days that Student Council is planning for us. There's probably a flannel day and a cozy day and a holiday sweater day there next week. So that's gonna be a fun way to get ready for the holiday break. I'd like to kind of piggyback on what Ryan said too. We're very grateful this time of year for a lot of things, for the support that our school and our students bring and give back to the community, but also for our amazing staff, because it is kind of a tough time to keep everyone engaged and as the excitement ramps up next week. So thank you to all of our awesome teachers for just being great, and it's a great place to be. So that's the update from the high school. Thank you, everybody.
Can you mention what you're doing tomorrow?
Sure, yeah. One of the things that Dr. Vanderjagt and I had the opportunity to attend a hand-to-hand dinner earlier this fall. And I just got to see some of the direct impact, especially through some of the testimonials that I had, including testimony from one of our own students that I know and see in the hallways nearly every single day. And I have to be honest, I had no idea that she benefited and her family benefited from hand-to-hand, so it became very personal. And it's something that maybe we take for granted in this community, that we don't even realize how many families need the support. So I was inspired to ask if our staff could
participate in some meal packing as part of our half-day activity tomorrow. So they unloaded the pallets of food this afternoon, in the snow, so we have it all ready for tomorrow, and our staff is gonna take part in that, as a way to give back, and, I'm excited about being able to make an impact in the community that way, so, and I think staff is too.
Thanks for your leadership on
Yeah.
that. We talked about that at our board meeting this past week,
Yep.
working hand in hand, and just how impactful that'll be on many students. So thank you,
Thank you.
high school staff for that. Just a couple updates from me. A quick on construction. Park Elementary is nearing the last leg. The internal hallway, which is all boarded up, will come down over the holiday break. The classrooms aren't ready, but the hallway will become bigger. There's a little bit of frustration because they've decorated it and now they have to take it all down, but that's, we're getting closer. The rooms are enclosed, that work takes place. We expect to get full occupancy of the building by the end of the school year, not the end of summer, which is important for staff to be moving in, which is great. The Early Childhood Center, those 2 classrooms that used to be the cafeteria, are completed. We'll get possession of those next week, and that will be moving along nicely. And then the exterior bathrooms that are near the pickleball courts are not needed on days like today, but those will be completed by the time we get to the springtime. So that is nearing the end of our construction phases. We have a few other projects going on. We'll update the board at the work session, as well as conversation about what is next, and that's a conversation for early 2025. As you know, the weather has not been ideal. This morning it's a challenge. People asked about why not the night before, why the day of. It is always a challenge to make the right decisions. We do not follow complete recommendations of our student body when they want to request a snow day, nor do we follow exactly whether the National Weather Service or local, we listen to it, but getting on the roads is the best course of action. Close communication with neighboring districts, we're all on the very same page as we navigated this morning, and then have to make some tough calls. And that also goes along with evening activities. We try to do the best we can based on who is driving to activities. I'll give you an example. Tonight we have a concert at Fellowship for Forest Grove is their elementary concert. We also have a concert going on at the auditorium that involves the 5-6 building. It's when you have parents driving to events, it's different than any students drive to events. So both of those concerts are taking place. I fully understand those roads are not, it is not 50 degrees and nice roads outside, but hopefully people are safe, and we've reminded them that always use your best judgment. If you're unable to make it, we completely understand. On the other side of it, canceling the concerts, which Mr. Verwise alluded to, they started singing these songs in August when it was 95 degrees outside. These kids really want to be up there and shine. They get nervous, some throw up, but it's exciting to watch them perform. So the weather's been interesting. We'll update the board on whether the impact of the weather delays and cancellations. Hopefully we won't have to, but we still have time to make sure our kids are safe. And that's, at the end of the day, that's the best course of action. I would be remiss to not wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Mr. Davis, thank you for your years of service. I truly appreciate your support and my candidacy to become superintendent here. We've had a lot of highlights to our district, and there's a lot of things we continue to work on. I appreciate everything you've done for me. On behalf of the district, I have a small token of appreciation that I didn't wrap, to be honest with you, but it's in a bag behind me. Thanks, Mr. Davis.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's it.
All right, we will do a round table and we just have a couple quick items. Ken, I'll start with you. Welcome back.
Thank you. Mr. Davis, again, yes, as has been said tonight, thank you for your years of service and dedication to the district, and wish you all the best in your next endeavors. Ms. Hemmes, I didn't get a chance to see you in November, so welcome. You're joining the board of one of the leading districts in West Michigan, and it's because of the folks sitting around those tables. So looking forward to working with you on that. To the team, our teachers, our principals, our entire staff, it's kind of the halfway point of the year. Continue to make great strides, do great work, push the district forward toward excellence. Again, as a premier district of West Michigan, thank you to all of you for what you do. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Sir Davis, thank you for all the wisdom you've espoused over the years here. And for me personally, you came on at an interesting time, and you had a lot of your years of experience that were very helpful in helping me make decisions and walk through this. So thanks for the service that you've brought to the community. I wanted to just highlight one thing that happened at our high school last week. I think there was a community member that was in the school store and had a little bit of a medical episode. And yeah, it was just 2 days ago. Wow, okay, all right. I get real-time information sometimes in my house. But,
Yes.
But our student stepped up. This is a community member that she had a medical episode, and our 2 students that were in the school store, they stepped up to the plate and got immediate help and attended to the needs. Mr. Nauta, who's one of our staff there, was right there. He's a EMT as well, and those kids stepped up, and the gal ended up really needing some medical attention, and without those kids spraying into action, not freaking out, it could have been a lot worse. So just really proud of our students in that moment. So we oftentimes can talk about things that we need to get better at and all that, but I couldn't be more proud of the kids in the building in that situation. So yeah, and thanks to all of you that are here. Wish y'all didn't have to come in tonight. You had the full day off. That's not how it works, but really appreciate all you guys that you do for us, and hope you have a great holiday season.
Congratulations, Mark. And Merry Christmas to all of you. Hope you have an enjoyable, safe time with your family. Mandy, I really look forward to hearing what you and the committee have come to support and consensus on at our next meeting. And I appreciate all the work and the committee has done to this point.
Merry Christmas to everyone also, and thank you for all the work that you're doing. I want to thank Dr. Vanderjack. Obviously, we were talking about the weather today, and it's not an easy call. No matter what call you make, someone's going to be upset. So, but I appreciate the fine work that you do in making wise decisions when it comes to those types of things. Also, Mark, I remember Mark at Fitness 19 about 15 years ago. And I remember he was always there in the morning, and then he was working out diligently. And I remember there were a group of guys, back then I was about 50, and there were a group of guys, and they all used to look at Mark and they say, boy, I hope when I'm that age, I'm in some good shape. And I looked at him and I said, it doesn't get any better. You're not in that good a shape now. You're not going to be in this shape 15 years from now. But anyway, I appreciate those early morning workouts that we had there. And I think also another point of interest is, didn't you baptize this kid as an infant? Yeah, okay. So anyway, so it goes back a long way. So anyway, thanks for all your work.
Pleasure. Yeah, thank you, Mark, for your service. And he kind of took what I was going to say. We've known each other for my entire life, and appreciate everything you poured into this community, all you've done for wisdom leadership. So appreciate that. Wish everyone happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thank you all for making this school district what it is today. Very much appreciated. Thanks for all the hard work. This is a time where we can all take some time to just reflect on the year, reflect on our accomplishments, maybe reflect on goals that we want to set for ourselves and our families and others around us in the new year. And for me personally, it's a time where at work everyone's off, clients are off, so it's a time of year for me that I really enjoy the most because I can actually unplug. So I encourage all of you to do the same and to always keep in mind what's most important. And for some of us, it's different things, but it's an honor to continue to serve here on the board, and I'm thankful to be in this position and wish you all the best in the new year. So thank you.
Thank you for all your kind comments. I appreciate that. And Joy, welcome to the board. Glad to have you taking my place. I had a lot of things I was going to say tonight, but I didn't know there was going to be cake. I do want to say something about Dana Odell, however. I didn't know he was going to say nice things about me tonight. But we went through a period on the board when we were hearing the word transparency almost at every meeting repeatedly, but we weren't always having transparency. Dana's the one who appeared with his camera and awakened the community and made them aware of what was going on and helped us a lot of support to get ourselves redirected. So it's been a pleasure to serve. I thank you for all your kind comments. Happy to turn the baton over now to Joy.
Well, we're not quite done yet, Mark. So we had a couple of legislators that were hoping to be here tonight, but they were unable. So the state of Michigan has done a special tribute to Mark Davis, and I just want to read it and then I will give it to him. Let it be known that it is with deep appreciation for the hard work and dedication which this accomplishment represents that we congratulate Mark Davis on his retirement from the Hudsonville School Board of Education. His faithful and productive service has earned him respect from all who have worked with him and has greatly enriched the Hudsonville community through his tireless dedication to his students and fellow citizens. Mark Davis has lived in Hudsonville for 49 years. He has spent 33 years as a school board trustee, serving to provide the best possible education for children in the district and prepare them to be productive citizens. In addition to his service with Hudsonville Public Schools, he has served on the Ottawa County Workforce Development Board and on boards for various church and mission organizations. In special tribute, therefore, this document is signed and dedicated to honor and recognize Mark Davis as he begins his retirement. May the health and happiness he truly deserves be his. And it is signed by Roger Victory, State Senator from the 31st District, and Bradley Slaw, State Representative of the 85th District. Thank you, Mark. I also want to give my, I'm sad you're leaving, Mark. I've enjoyed working with you. I've enjoyed your mentorship, your friendship. You will be missed, and don't be a stranger. You can come back to see us.
3 minutes.
And we will have a timer going. And when it stops, we will stop you. Yeah. I also want to wish everyone here a very wonderful Christmas and Happy New Year. It's like the other board members have said, without your dedication and commitment to this district, we would be nowhere. You are what makes this district wonderful. So thank you. I hope you have time to rest and relax a little bit over the holidays, because January will be here before we know it, and then we will be back at it. All right. So with that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
All right, Mr. Davis. Motion, who'd like to second it? Second from Nick. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Please stay in